A great day so far here at Safari. My name is Grace and welcome to the Bird of Prey Conservation Center here at Safari. Today we are going to be free flying some birds for you to demonstrate how they would hunt in the wild, as well as showing you some really cool features that help them survive. And hopefully along the way you'll gather some cool facts you can share with your friends and family. Are you guys all ready?
Yeah.
Awesome. So the first bird coming out today is going to be coming out the back of the field. Her name is Ginger, and she is going to be following a lure that is supposed to be mimicking an item of prey. So this could be something like a rabbit, a squirrel, or any other small mammal. The only thing is, she likes to be called out onto the field. So if all together we could count down 3, 2, 1, and then yell fly, all together we might just be loud enough for her to hear us. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, keep your eyes to the back of the field. And 3, 2, 1, fly! All right, she heard us. Here she comes. There she goes. And she's got it. Beautiful catch. Now, this is Ginger, and she is a red-tailed hawk. You can tell because of that beautiful rusty red tail she has. Now, these birds are native to right here in Ontario, and you can often see them flying over farmers' fields, and you'll see them hunt just like she showed us. But most of the time, you'll see them flying near roads and perching on poles and wires, and that's because these birds are opportunistic hunters. They might watch the road, that way they can watch to see if any roadkill becomes generated, so they can swoop in and get some fast food that way. Now, as Ginger was flying in, I hope you noticed that she was flying very low to the ground, and this helps in a few aspects of her hunt. Staying low to the ground creates a special type of wind turbulence that allows her to hover right over the ground without having to flap her wings. It also reduces the amount of shadow that she's casting, which could further scare away her prey. Now, you might be wondering, what is a bird of prey or a raptor? And this would be a great question. These birds can be characterized by having strong legs, strong feet, and very sharp talons. These are hawks like we just saw, falcons, eagles, and our next bird, which is an owl. So on your left, out comes Theo, and Theo is a barred owl. So as he comes a little closer to you, I want you to notice his beautiful colors. Those colors help him camouflage in the wild against prey and predators. When he comes a little closer, also take a look at his beautiful eyes. Now, those eyes are black, and that is a great indicator that he is nocturnal, which means he hunts at nighttime. Now, it's a common misconception that all owls are nocturnal, but that's just not true. Some birds only hunt during the day, and some only at dawn and dusk. Now, those eyes and ears help them hunt in 100% darkness. Those eyes are like tubes that jut into the back of their skull, and they're fixed in place by specialized bones called sclerotic rings. This just means that they can't turn their eyes separately from their head. So to look around, they have to turn their entire head. Now, this brings me to another misconception, and that's that owls can turn their head all the way around, 360 degrees. But that's just not true. If they did this, they would actually end up strangling themselves, which isn't good for anyone. But just as cool, they can turn their head about 270 degrees or 3/4 of the way around. Now, their ears are just as spectacular. They have 2 slits on either side of their head that one points down and one points up. Now this helps them hear horizontally like us, but also up and down, so vertically. And again, those senses help them catch their food in the wild. Now, the next bird coming out is probably one of the more majestic birds you can think of. He's going to be flying down the field for a quick snack. And if you know what he is, I want you to shout out what you think he is. Yeah, we have a smart crowd over here. So this is Juno, and Juno is a bald eagle. Now, these birds are native to right here in Ontario, and they can often be found near dense forests and a reliable source of water. That's because their favorite food is fish. So today, watch as our trainer puts a lure on top of this water, mimicking a fish coming to the surface, and we'll see if he can make a catch. And he's got it right out of the water. Amazing. So these birds have a specialized scale on the bottom of their feet, and it's like a sandpaper texture that allows them to grip those slippery fish right from the water. Now, these birds can actually carry a fish out of the water that is the size of themselves. So this is anywhere between 7 and 10 pounds. But if they happen to catch a fish that's just a little too large, they've been seen using those large wings as paddles and rowing that fish all the way to the shore where they can enjoy their nice meal. Now take a look at those beautiful colors. The bald eagle has a beautiful white head and white tail, and these are great indicators that this bald eagle is an adult. They don't get those colors until they are about 5 years old. Juveniles are more of a mottled color, a mottled brown color. Now, as many of you might know, the bald eagle population hasn't always been doing so great in the wild. In the 1970s, a pesticide known as DDT was introduced into the ecosystem. And while it didn't harm these birds directly, it inhibited their ability to uptake calcium. So once it made its way into the diet of the bald eagle, they couldn't uptake enough calcium, and their eggs were so brittle that when they went to go incubate their eggs, they actually crushed them right underneath their own body weight. So with no new babies to replace that older and dying generation, the bald eagle population plummeted. Luckily, scientists were able to find out that DDT was the issue, and it was banned throughout North America. Now, with conservation efforts and breeding and release programs, the bald eagle was officially removed from the endangered species list in 2007. Now, this is just a great way to show that conservation programs really do work for wild populations, and they can be bound. So as you guys are walking around today, I hope you noticed that a lot of our birds are actually in pairs. This is because here at Safari, we have an extensive breeding program. So with all of those babies comes the question, where do babies actually come from? And our next bird is going to help us answer that question. His name is Blanco, and he is a European white stork. The idea that these birds are the bringers of human babies actually comes from their migration pattern. These birds will migrate all the way from Europe to Africa and back to Europe, taking about 9 months, which is the average duration of a human pregnancy. Now, as he comes in, take a look at those long orange legs and that slender orange beak. Now, these are great indicators that he is a wading bird, and this just has to do with the way that he hunts. So these birds will go out slowly into the water, careful not to disturb any sediment, and dart that sharp beak right into the water, and they can catch crustaceans, fish, and even insects with that beak of theirs. So before the next birds come out, I was actually wondering if we would have any kid volunteers that might want to come down here and do a little running around with me. If you're interested, just raise your hand, and I'm going to grab just a few of the kids, okay? All right, you two, if you wanted to come down, you can. You two can come. And just meet me right here by this gate, okay? You can come on down. You can both come if you want. Come on. And you guys can both come too. All right, awesome job. Now, you are all so brave because I didn't tell you what we were doing today. So come on in and just stay right here for me. Come on in. All right, just gonna close this. All right, so we are going to do a walk down the field, so just go ahead and follow me, okay? So the next birds that are coming out sometimes get a bad reputation, but I assure you, you guys are all gonna come back in 1 or 2 pieces. So these birds, they get a bad reputation because they're often alongside the road, eating dead things and things we just don't wanna look at. But on your left is Murphy and Kirby, and they are a pair of black vultures. Now, these birds are great on the ground because that's where they find most of their food. And we are going to show that with a race today. So I hope you guys all brought your running legs with you. All right, so I'm gonna have you guys come line up our race just right here. Come on. Go on this side of me. Awesome. Come on over here, guys. Can you guys go on, go line up. Awesome. All right. So do you see that gate that we came in at? That is the finish line, okay? So when I count down, you're gonna run as fast as you can all the way over there. My only rule is you guys have to stay on this side of me because the birds have this side, okay? Do we have any support for our volunteers? Awesome. What about the vultures? All right, it's gonna be a close one. I need you to cheer for your team as loud as you can. In 3, 2, 1, go! Run, run, run! Little cheating from the birds using their wings. But I think our volunteers have taken the race. Awesome job, you guys. You can all officially go home and tell everyone you know that you are faster than a black vulture. Yeah, let's give them a hand, you guys. They did great. Now, I wouldn't brag about the wing too much, as their legs are only 6 inches long, but it's still really cool. Now, like I said before, these vultures are really important in our ecosystems. That's because they're cleaning up all of that dead debris alongside the road and the environment, but they're doing so much more than that. They have a strong stomach acid that can break down bacteria and viruses such as rabies and anthrax, eliminating them from our environment. Here in Ontario, we have the native turkey vulture, and their populations are doing just fine, but not everywhere in the world is so lucky. Places like India are currently going through a vulture crisis, where populations have seen a 99% decline over the past few decades. Now that's 40 million birds, all the way down to just 19,000. Now this is hard for us to wrap our heads around, because where we find this decline in populations, we also see an increase in human death and disease. This is because those birds aren't around to help clean up the ecosystem. So next time you see a vulture snacking alongside the road, make sure to give them a wide berth and maybe say a little thank you, because they're doing us a huge, huge favor by keeping us all nice and healthy. So those were some very, very fast volunteers, but our next bird is even faster, reaching speeds of 130 kilometers per hour. On your left, out comes Goose, and Goose is a Lanner falcon. So with his trainer, they are going to show us how this bird would hunt in the wild. So our trainer has a lure, and she is going to be throwing it up, and we're going to see if he can make a catch. These birds naturally hunt other birds, so medium-sized birds like pigeons or even songbirds. Now, once he gets up in the air, you're going to notice he's not going to go in for a kill right away. He's actually going to be flying around a little bit. And this is just a period of the hunt known as waiting on. This just means he's getting a feel for the wind conditions, warming up those flight muscles, but he's also a master of confusion. He's going up, down, all around, maybe behind the stands and the trees, and he's trying to confuse our trainer and to not let her know which direction he's coming from or even that she's being hunted at all. So we're gonna see if he can make a catch for us. We're gonna try one more time. Oh, and he's got it. Hey, they can't always be successful, am I right? So, a lot of times in the wild, these birds are moving way too fast to catch that item in the air. In this case, what they'll do is they'll ball up those little feet and punch that item right from the air. Usually, they're going fast enough where this force is enough to kill their prey instantly. But if not, they have a specialized notch on their beak called the tomial tooth that they'll use to crack the vertebrae of their kill and enjoy their nice meal that way. Now, When he comes a little closer, I also want you to notice that he has 2 stripes on his head. These are called malar stripes. These stripes help with the hunting of their prey. They're often seen chasing their prey right into the sun, blinding their prey, but those stripes absorb the sun so they can see just fine. You can see this on football players or even cheetahs. Now, here at Safari, we are involved in several different conservation programs, one in particular being for the eastern loggerhead shrike. Now, this is a bird that is native to right here in Ontario, and it's a predatory songbird that will actually impale its prey on sharp sticks and twigs for storage and to easier eat it. Now, this bird has been declining over the past few decades, but with everyone coming out today, we have been able to collectively release over 1,000 individuals back into the wild. So thank you all so much for coming out. If you wanted to come down, take a closer look at our falcon here. Please do ask us any questions you might have. The next show is going to be right down the path on your right, and that is the Little Rays reptile presentation. So thank you all so much for coming and have a good day.